The illusion of control, the champagne flute trembled slightly in Damien's grip as he leaned back into the plush first-class seat. Across from him, Sophia laughed, her emerald necklace catching the light, a gift he'd bought her. Just that. "Morning, you really told the board you were taking a personal sabbatical?" she teased, swirling her drink. He smirked. "They'll manage without me." His voice was smooth, practiced. The lie came easily. He hadn't told them anything. It simply left. Outside the window, London's rain-slicked tarmac shimmered under the evening lights. The flight to Paris was supposed to be another calculated MOVA weekend of whispered promises in five-star suites, far from prying eyes. Then the flight attendant approached. "Mr. Vaughn," she murmured, her voice low. "There's someone on board you should know about." Damien's fingers tightened around his glass. "Excuse me?" The attendant hesitated. "Your wife? She's here, in economy." The words landed like a gut punch. Sophia's smile faltered. "What's going on?" But Damien wasn't listening. His mind raced. Lena, she wasn't supposed to know. She wasn't supposed to be here. A memory flashed Lena, 6 months pregnant, standing in the doorway of his study. "You're going to miss the birth, aren't you?" She'd said it quietly, no accusation, just resignation. He'd shrugged, already typing an email. Business doesn't stop for babies. Now Lena was on this plane, with their baby's dot. The engines roared to life, the cabin door sealed. Trapped, Sophia touched his arm. "Damien, who is she?" He turned slowly, his charm cracking. No one important. But the fear in his eyes said otherwise. The calm before the storm, the hum of the plane's engines, was a steady, mocking rhythm in Lena's ears. She adjusted the baby wrap around her chest, securing her sleeping daughter, while her other twin dozed in the carrier beside her. Economy. Class was cramped, but she didn't mind. She wasn't here for comfort. She glanced at her phone one last time before switching it to airplane mode. A notification flashed breaking. Billionaire CEO spotted boarding flight with mystery woman. The tabloid leak had gone live right on schedule. Lena exhaled, a small, satisfied smile playing on her lips. Let the games begin. Across the aisle, a middle-aged woman peeked over, eyeing the twins with a soft smile. "They're adorable." 9 months, Lena replied, keeping her tone light. "Traveling alone with two? You're brave, or desperate." But Lena just nodded. "You get used to it." The truth was, she had gotten used to it. Used to the sleepless nights, the endless bottles, the hollow absence where her husband should have been. Damien had vanished the moment the ultrasound showed. Twins. 2 is a trap, he'd hissed before walking out. Now, she was trapping him. The first move, a flight attendant, a young man with kind eyes, paused by her row. "Ma'am, can I get you anything?" She shook her head, then hesitated. "Actually could." "You deliver something to first class for me?" His brow furrowed. "I'm not sure it's for my husband," she said smoothly, sliding a sealed envelope from her bag. Damien Vaughn was written in neat, deliberate script, sitting in 2A. Recognition flickered in the attendant's eyes. Of course, he knew who Damien was. The man took the envelope, his fingers brushing hers just long enough to feel the weight of what she was handing over. "I'll make sure he gets it," he said quietly. As he walked away, Lena leaned back, her pulse steady. She didn't need to see Damien's face to know what was coming. The bomb drops in first class. Damien was halfway through his third whiskey when the attendant appeared. "Mr. Vaughn." Sophia looked up, curious. Damien barely glanced over. "Is it?" The attendant held out the envelope. "Your wife asked me to give this to you." The air left Damien's lungs. Sophia's glass froze midway to her lips. "Wife." Damien snatched the envelope, tearing it open with unsteady hands. Inside was a single sheet of paper-legal letterhead, stark and unforgiving. Petition for divorce. Full custody request. Asset freeze. His vision blurred at the last line. DNA results attached. "What the hell is this?" he hissed under his breath. Then, from the back of the plane, a baby cried. The mistress realizes Sophia's face drained of color. "You're married?" Damien didn't answer. His gaze was locked on the curtain separating first class from economy, as if he could see through its sea. Her. Damien, Sophia's voice sharpened. You told me you were divorced. He turned to her, his charm replaced by cold calculation. It's complicated. No, it's simple. She stood abruptly, her chair rattling. You lied? Passengers nearby glanced. Over whispers spreading, Damien grabbed her wrist. Sit down. We'll talk about this later. She yanked free. There is no later. With that, she stormed toward the lavatory, leaving Damien alone with the envelope and the truth he could no longer outrun. The wife watches from her seat. Lena heard the commotion, the sharp rise of voices, the gasps of nearby passengers. She didn't need to see to know her plan was working. One of the twins stirred, tiny fingers curling against her chest. Lena pressed a kiss to her daughter's forehead. She, my love. Daddy's finally learning his lesson. The plane shuddered, slightly turbulence, or maybe just the universe shifting in her favor. She closed her eyes, savoring the moment. This wasn't revenge. It was justice. The lavatory revelation, the airplane lavatory, was barely large enough to turn around in, but Sophia Laurent didn't care. She locked the door with a sharp click and gripped the edges of the sink, her breath coming in short, furious bursts. Married the word echoed in her skull like a gunshot. She stared at her reflection-flushed cheeks, smudged mascara, the emerald necklace Damien had given her glinting mockingly in the dim light. She yanked it off, the clasp catching in her hair, but she didn't care. The pain was grounding. A knock. Sophia. Damien's voice low and urgent. Open the door. She didn't move. Da, Sophia, please. The desperation in his tone almost made her laugh. The great Damien Vaughn, reduced to begging in an airplane bathroom. She unlocked the door. He slipped inside, his broad shoulders making the space feel even smaller. His colon something expensive and would have clung to him, but beneath it, she smelled the sharp tang of sweat. Listen to me, he said, his voice a harsh whisper. It's not what you think, really. She arched a brow. Because it looks like you have a wife and children, you forgot to mention. His jaw tightened. Lena and I have been separated for months. The divorce was supposed to be finalized. Supposed to be. Sophia cut him off. You told me you were divorced. You told me you were free. He had the decency to look guilty. She barreled on. And those babies back there, twins, are yours, aren't they? A muscle in his cheek twitched. That was all the confirmation she needed. The flight attendants. Loyalty Marco, the young flight attendant, hesitated outside the first-class curtain. He'd seen enough dramas unfold at 30,000 feet to know when to stay out of it. But something about Lena Vaughn's quiet dignity had gotten under his skin. He glanced at the note she'd given him earlier. If he tries to leave first class, stop. Him. A crash from the lavatory made him jump. Sophia stormed out, her face thunderous. Damien followed, his usually impeccable hair disheveled, his tie crooked. Marco stepped forward.
Ow.
Sir, you need to return to your seat. Damien barely glanced. At him. Not now. Marco didn't budge. The captain has turned on the seatbelt sign. Turbulence ahead. It was a lie, but a convincing one. Sophia brushed past them both, her shoulder knocking into Damien's as she strode toward the back of the plane. Toward economy. Toward Lena. The confrontation. Lena looked up as Sophia approached. The other woman's heels clicked against the floor, her designer dress wrinkled from the cramped lavatory. For a moment, they just stared at each other. Then Sophia spoke. You knew I'd be here. Lena didn't deny it. She adjusted the sleeping baby in her arms. I knew he would be. Sophia's gaze flickered to the twins, one nestled against Lena's chest, the other in the carrier beside her. They were beautiful, with Damien's dark lashes and Lena's full lips. A lump formed in Sophia's throat. You're not the first, Lena said softly. Sophia blinked. What? The mistress. Lena's voice was matter-of-fact. There were others before you. There'll be others after. Sophia's stomach twisted. She'd known Damien was ruthless in business, but this was something else entirely. Why are you telling me this? She whispered. Lena's smile was sad. Because I was you once. The mistress's choice, Sophia sank into the empty seat across from Lena, her legs suddenly weak. You were, his assistant Lena confirmed, dazzled by the private jets. The penthouse dinners. He told me his marriage was over. She was cold, controlling. She laughed bitterly. Sound familiar? Sophia's cheeks burned. It was exactly what Damien had told her, Lena continued. By the time I realized the truth, I was pregnant, and he was already looking for my replacement. One of the twins whimpered in her sleep. Lena rocked her gently, the motion automatic. Sophia watched, something unraveling inside her. She'd thought she was special. She'd thought Damien was different, but she was just another fool. The alliance formed. Sophia took a deep breath. Happens now? Lena met her gaze. Now, you choose? Choose? Stay with him, Lena said. Play the game. Lose eventually. She paused. Or walk away. Sophia glanced toward first class, where Damien was undoubtedly scheming his next move. Then she looked back at Lena, at the quiet strength in her eyes, the way she held her daughters, like they were her only anchors in the storm. Sophia made her decision. She reached into her purse and pulled out her phone. I have proof, she said quietly. Emails. Texts. Enough to bury him. Lena's lips curved. I was hoping you'd say that. The trap springs back in first class. Damien was typing furiously on his phone, his lawyer on speed dial. We need to file an injunction now. A shadow fell over him. He looked up and froze. Sophia stood there, her arms crossed, but it wasn't. Just her. Lena stood beside her, the twins in her arms, and behind them, Marco, the flight attendant, holding a phone, recording. Damien's blood ran cold. Smile, Sophia said sweetly. You're going viral. The viral moment. Damien Vaughn's face drained of color as he stared at the phone recording him. The soft hum of the plane's engines faded into a dull roar in his ears. You wouldn't dare, he hissed. Sophia tilted her head, her red lips curving, into a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Watch me. She tapped the screen, and the notification posted flashed bright. Damien lunged, but Marco stepped between them, his voice firm. Sir, sit down. A murmur rippled through first class. Passengers twisted in their seats, phones already out, recording the unraveling of a billionaire. Lena didn't move. She simply adjusted her daughter's blanket and watched. Her expression, unreadable. The first ping of a notification sounded. Then another. And another. Damien's empire was crumbling at 30,000 feet. The DNA. Bomb. Lena reached into her bag and pulled out a second envelope. You missed something in the divorce papers. Damien's fingers trembled as he tore it open. Inside was a single sheeted DNA test. Child A, 99.9%. Paternity match. Child B, 0% paternity match. His breath caught. What the hell is this, Lena's? The voice was calm. You said 2 was a trap, so I made sure only 1 was yours. The words hit him like a physical blow. 1 was his. 1 wasn't. Sophia's eyes widened. IVF, Lena confirmed. 2 embryos. 1 with his sperm, 1 with the donor's. She met Damien's gaze. Insurance? Damien's hands clenched. You lied. No, Lena said softly. I protected them. The mistress's reckoning. Sophia's phone buzzed incessantly. Reporters, friends, her agent. The video of Damien's meltdown was already trending. She ignored it all. Instead, she turned to Lena. Which one is his? Lena hesitated, then lifted the baby in her arms, the one with Damien's sharp cheekbones, his stubborn brow. This is Elise. Sophia's throat tightened. She reached out, then stopped, and the other. Claire. Lena's voice softened. She's mine, only mine. A beat of silence. Then I'll testify, Sophia blurted. Lena blinked. What? You need witnesses? Proof of his affairs? His lies? Sophia's voice was steady now. I'll help you bury him. Lena studied Hertha, smudged mascara, the trembling hands, the fire in her eyes. Then slowly, she nodded. Good. The descent begins, the captain's voice crackled over the intercom. Ladies and gentlemen, we've begun our descent into Paris. Damien didn't move. He sat slumped in his seat, the divorce papers crumpled in. His fist, the DNA test burning a hole in his lap. Across the aisle, a businessman whispered to his wife, "That's Vaughn, the tech billionaire. Did you see the video?" Damien closed his eyes. He'd spent years building his empire, ruthless deals, silent scandals, a carefully crafted image of power, and now he was just a man on a plane watching his life crash. In real time, the wife's victory, Lena, buckled the twins into their carriers, her movements methodical. Outside the window, the first lights of Paris glittered like scattered diamonds. Sophia hovered nearby. "What happens when we land, paparazzi?" Lena said. "Lawyers. A very public divorce." She glanced at Sophia. "You don't have to face them." Sophia straightened. "Yes, I do." Lena arched a brow. "I'm done hiding," Sophia said firmly. "Let them see what he really is." A slow smile spread across Lena's face. The plane touched down with a jolt. Somewhere in first class. Damien Vaughn flinched, but Lena didn't even blink. The paparazzi stormed the moment the plane door opened. The flashes began. A wall of cameras and shouted questions erupted from the jet bridge, their glare cutting through the dim cabin like lightning. "Mr. Vaughn, is it true you abandoned your wife and children?" Sophia Laurent. "Were you aware he was married, Lena? How long have you planned this?" Damien froze in the doorway, his tailored suit suddenly feeling like a costume. Behind him, passengers craned their necks, phones raised. To capture his humiliation. He turned just in time to see Lena step into the chaos, a twin strapped to her chest. The other held securely in her arms. She didn't flinch. Sophia emerged next, her chin high, her designer sunglasses hiding nothing. She met the cameras head-on, Damien's. Lawyers shoved through the crowd, their voices sharp. No comment moved back. But it was too late. The footage was already live. The Walk of Shame airport security cleared a path. But there was no shielding Damien from the truth. News vans lined. The curb. Twitter hashtags multiplied. Hashtag Vaughn scandal. Hashtag plane revenge. Hash karma at 30K feet. Lena moved like a queen through the storm, her daughters shielded from the noise. Porter shouted questions, but she only paused once to adjust Claire's sun hat, her fingers lingering on the baby's cheek. A journalist shoved a mic in her face. "Lena, do you have anything to say to Damien?" She didn't even glance back. "I already did." Then she was gone, slipping into a waiting car, leaving only silence in her wake. The Mistress's redemption. Sophia expected backlash. Hate mail, canceled contracts. Instead, her inbox flooded with support. "You were fooled too. Q for standing with her. Tell your story." A talk show host slid into her DMIs. "Exclusive interview. Name your price." She stared at the message, then at the news playing on the hotel TV. Binian's net worth plummeting. His board voting him out. She typed back, "No price. Just truth," and she blocked his number. The fall of the empire by midnight. The headlines were brutal. VAUGHN tech stock crashes. 40% investors flee as CEO's scandal goes global. Wife gets full custody. Frozen ASCTS. Damien sat alone in a rented penthouse, the silence suffocating. His phone buzzed once. A text from his lawyer. "They're pushing you out. Settlement talks tomorrow." He threw the phone across the room. It shattered against the wall. Just like his life. The new beginning. 6 months later, Lena sat on a sunlit terrace, her laptop open. Press release glowed on the screen. Vaughn Foundation. Launches. Funding single mothers in Tecalise babbled in her playpen, chubby hands reaching for a stuffed elephant. Claire napped in the shade, her curls damp with sweat. A notification popped up. Sophia's latest post. A selfie with her new startup team. The caption, "Second chances exist." Lena smiled and clicked like. Somewhere in the world. Damien was probably still scheming, still fighting, still blaming everyone but himself. But here there was only peace. Epilogue. The last shot the tabloids never let go. A grainy photo surfaced. Weeks later, Damien at an airport bar, alone, half-empty whiskey in hand. The caption, "From billionaire to broken in 6 months." Alina saw it. She didn't react. She simply closed the magazine and went back to her life, a life he'd never touch. Again,